The NASCAR Cup Series was in Mexico this past weekend for its inaugural international event, or at least the first international event since the 1950s. It was the inaugural event in Mexico. Carson Hocevar had a rough day, finished in the 30s, re-aggravated Ricky Stenhouse Jr., but what was not known to some of us was that Carson Hocevar, on a Twitch stream, some sort of streaming website, he had made some comments about Mexico, and then he issued an apology Sunday night, and now Spire Motorsports has taken action. So let's go in order there. Let's look at the initial comments by Carson Hocevar. Then we'll see the apology that Carson Hocevar issued. Then we'll look at the punishment issued by Spire Motorsports. So what Hocevar actually said, Kelly Crandall wrote it out. It says, "This whole experience, if the travel was better, if getting here was easier, if you felt safer getting to and from everywhere, if it wasn't such a, bad word, hole, if the track limits were a little better enforced, if it was going to be a little better race and it didn't feel so locked down, like you can't leave anywhere, it would be a great experience. It would be an absolute great experience. If you take all those out, it's unbelievable. It's great." So then, Sunday night, Carson Hocevar tweets this out. "Maybe a kid that had never been out of the country until Thursday should ever give an opinion about what any place is like other than Portage, Michigan. When I answered that question on a stream, I was skeptical about the trip so far and believed everything I had read or heard about Mexico City from people who more than likely also had never been here. Now that I've actually left my hotel a couple of times and raced here in front of some of the most passionate fans I've ever seen, my opinion has changed. I'm embarrassed by my comments, by the race I ran, and I may have to move here to hide out from Ricky anyway," being Ricky Stenhouse Jr. "Count this as a lesson for me in a season I've learned so much. Don't believe everything you hear without seeing it yourself. If anyone should give anyone or any place the benefit of the doubt, it's me. I'm sorry, Mexico City. Consider me an ally going forward and an example of getting off Twitch and seeing things with my own two eyes." So after all that went down, after the comments made by Hocevar and then him issuing an apology a couple of days later, they decided to hand out a punishment to Hocevar. A punishment that it says that NASCAR was in agreement with. After a thorough internal review of Carson Hocevar's recent live stream remarks after Mexico City and in close consultation with NASCAR, Spire Motorsports is issuing the following disciplinary measures. Point 1, a $50,000 fine which will be donated in equal portions to 3 organizations that serve Mexican communities. Number 1, Cruz Roja Mexicana, Mexican Red Cross, providing humanitarian and medical relief across Mexico. Number 2, Un Kilo de Ayuda, a nonprofit combating childhood malnutrition and supporting early childhood development in rural communities. 3, Fondo Unido Mexico, United Way Mexico, funding local NGOs that improve education, health, and housing in 22 Mexican states. Then the next point is mandatory cultural sensitivity and bias awareness training to be completed by Carson Hocevar. And, well, I guess those are the only points, actually. These actions are consistent with Spire Motorsports' core value of respect, which is something we proudly display on every race car, team uniform, trackside hauler, and digital channel. Respect is not a slogan. It's a daily expectation that we walk the walk in how we speak, compete, and serve the communities that welcome our sport. Carson Hocevar's recent comments made during the live stream fell short of that standard. They did not represent the views of Spire Motorsports, our partners, or NASCAR. He has acknowledged his mistake publicly, and his prompt, sincere apology demonstrated personal accountability. We now take this additional step to underscore that words carry weight and respect must be lived out loud. Spire Motorsports has informed NASCAR of these penalties, and NASCAR has confirmed that our team-imposed discipline satisfies the sanctioning body's requirements. Together, we remain committed to showcasing NASCAR's global growth, celebrating the passionate Mexican fan base we experienced firsthand last weekend, and ensuring every member of our organization treats hosts, competitors, and communities with dignity. We look forward to turning the page by racing hard, representing our partners, and living our values on and off the track. So, yes, Carson Hocevar got fined. He got essentially sensitivity training. That is what it's been called in the past. I think Kyle Busch got sensitivity training for something he said in a post-race interview a couple of years ago. Denny Hamlin got sensitivity training for making an internet joke. So sensitivity training has been a thing. But the biggest thing about this is that it wasn't NASCAR who handed out this penalty. It was Spire. Now, I'm sure there's a chance for what Hocevar said that NASCAR might have penalized him. They might have fined him. I don't think they would have docked him points, but they might have fined him. They might have given him sensitivity training like this. But Spire took action first, and they decided to give Hocevar the sensitivity training, fine him $50,000. And I really appreciate that Spire here actually tells you where the fine is going, because obviously with Carson Hocevar, he works for Spire Motorsports. They pay him money. They give him a paycheck. So that $50,000, like, is it just going to go back to Spire and then they just repay? Like, no. That $50,000 is going to good use. It's going to 3 separate charities in Mexico, and it is going to benefit them. Obviously, you don't want to be in this situation. Hocevar wishes he didn't say that. Not the smartest thing to say. You got to think about the situation. NASCAR's going international for the first time in the Cup Series since the 1950s. We've had a country open their arms to NASCAR, to the teams, the drivers, NASCAR itself, to a major facility, a facility that is known worldwide, one of the biggest cities in the world, I might add. And also on top of this, Carson Hocevar's sponsor is a Mexican-based company. So add all that together, throw what Hocevar said with that, yeah, Carson Hocevar can't be saying that. That's not good. Obviously, he has been punished, so I'm sure he won't be saying anything like that again in regards to Mexico, if we go to Canada, wherever it may be. So, yeah, just not the smartest comments by Carson Hocevar. He took accountability for his actions. He's being punished for his actions. And, yeah, on the bright side, it is benefiting charity. So I think there's going to be a lot of comments. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of opinions on this, as there always are. But I think we can all agree that money benefiting charity is good. I hope we can all agree on that. But Carson Hocevar penalized by his own team. Once again, NASCAR, they self-reported to NASCAR in a sense, and NASCAR said, oh, okay, that fits with us, because you got to remember Carson Hocevar, while he's also representing Spire Motorsports, the team he drives for, he is representing NASCAR, the organization who allows them to race every single week. So, yeah, that's all I got on that. We got Pocono this weekend, a triple header. Friday, the Truck Series. Saturday, the Xfinity. And Sunday, the Cup Series. Please be nice in the comments, people.